Hey guys, it's Gregor, aka the Zodiac Killer, and in this video I'm going to be rambling a bit about Titanfall and how its devs can take the good, the bad, and the ugly from it and make the sequel into a game worth checking out. But you know, a lot like Donald Trump, Titanfall is a very polarizing topic. You either love it or you hate it. I personally loved it. I even got 2 copies of it on console and on PC. It was one of the last games I've ever bought for $60 in recent memory, and that was a while ago. But a lot of people didn't really like what they interpreted as a huge price for a game that didn't deserve that price. Titanfall, regardless of whether or not you're gonna make Mexico pay for your copy of it, in my opinion, is a well-constructed game, though. In hindsight, I do agree that $60 was a little steep for a game that's main point was its multiplayer component, but no one complained when Red Orchestra 2 was released. Or how about Rainbow Six Siege? I have a copy of it. I've enjoyed the time I've spent with it, but did you really think I paid $60 for it? Pfft, no way. I put that money into my vaporware fund. Titanfall was frequently compared to Call of Duty, and that makes sense, considering the colorful history of the game's development. Its development team, Respawn Entertainment, is a result of the fallout that the guys responsible for the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series at Infinity Ward had with Activision following the second game's release, which explains a lot. Sure, Titanfall shares a lot with Call of Duty, but are they the same game? No! Titanfall had a lot of good points, both mechanically and artistically speaking. I think anyone that called this game generic was kinda missing the point. What made the game any more generic than Call of Duty or Counter-Strike? So frustratingly enough, it seems that talking about Titanfall's positive qualities in front of the gaming community at large is more about disputing arguments people make about the game as if the gun's not having enough recoil is an objective assessment of the game and there's some kind of unspoken rule that gun recoil is directly proportionate to a shooter's quality or something. But the game, at its core, is well designed. Its movement mechanics in the form of the jetpack and the wall running ensured one thing. You, the player, never had any excuse to not be moving, and even if you were equipped with a long-range weapon suited to more stationary shooting, you knew for damn sure that you had to move after each shot lest you get your efforts quickly ended with a shotgun blast. Weapon balance, for the most part, was really good too, because it cut out a lot of the crap. What's the point in having 5 guns that are all supposed to fill the same roles? The world building was good. The soundtrack, also pretty solid. The narrative was a bit underdeveloped, but served as a framework for some interesting narratives to be written in the future. But I still think they should do more. They should do more in the sequel. I'm going to talk about that. The bad of Titanfall is really, in my opinion, only found in the element of the game that felt somewhat half-assed to me. The campaign. And it wasn't really a campaign at all, as much as it was a specified rotation of multiplayer matches interspersed with thematic dialogue and arguments among the characters that played over the course of the match. The lore of the game is solid, though. It's pretty standard sci-fi, rebels versus evil empire kind of thing, but it's unique in certain aspects, and I felt that the original Titanfall benefited from the little bits and pieces of it showing through the multiplayer, but this game was deserving of a good single-player story with unique level designs and mechanics unto itself. It did lack this, and for that, I could see where some people didn't feel justified in paying $60 for this game because of it, which is why I'm hoping that Titanfall 2 will feature such a thing. Give me a good old-fashioned space cowboy action-adventure story a la StarCraft, and I'll probably just end up getting the game just for that alone, but that's kind of it. Was there anything glaringly bad about this game? In my honest opinion, no. Not enough that can't be fixed in the sequel. The only thing I could see being problematic with the game's development is the potentially chaotic nature of Respawn's partnership with Electronic Arts. If EA wants to make sure that Titanfall isn't another flash-in-the-pan game series that provides them a quick buck and ultimately ends up with Respawn getting the axe because of costs or some crap, EA needs to do one thing, and that command is a bit of an oxymoron because that one thing, what they need to do, is nothing, except publish it. Okay, EA publishes, Respawn develops. No mix and matching. Okay? I guarantee you that if Titanfall 2 turns out to be a flop, it's not going to be the fault of Respawn. It's going to be the fault of their publishers, which have shown their propensity to sanction some of the most nonsensical projects due to a couple of buzzwords from some business majors in a boardroom that don't have a proper understanding of the nature of game development. Titanfall isn't the kind of game that needs to be manufactured off of a production line on a yearly basis. It's a labor of love from a passionate group of developers who want to make a product that pleases their audience. I'm sure that the game is going to have a season pass. I hope that's the extent of the DLC that the game gets. I don't want Titanfall Premium. I don't want $40 expansion packs for a game already being charged for $60. I don't want Titanfall 2 to be rushed out the door for a holiday release. None of that. Don't put too many cooks in the kitchen, please. What I would personally like the devs of Titanfall 2 to do, and I can only speculate at this point as to what is going on, but I can make some assumptions as to what they're doing and go off of that. I mentioned that I felt the game really would have benefited from a good single-player narrative, but it was clear that Respawn was deliberately avoiding doing such a thing so that they could focus on making a good multiplayer experience and flesh out the game's mechanics. The game benefited from this. Again, solid foundation with a lot they can build off of. The game we have now is fine, and I don't expect them to try and reinvent the wheel. Maybe they'll add more to the game's multiplayer in terms of common FPS practice, like more weapon customization, but the game is built off of the gunplay in combination with the movement mechanics and obviously controlling the Titans. So I do think that Respawn will try to do more in giving the player options to customize their pilot and their Titans, maybe giving options for different kinds of jetpacks and wall-running gear, the ability to modify the Titans in a more comprehensive manner, maybe giving it like directional shield capability or something like that. I have full faith, though, in Respawn's ability to do these things without compromising game balance. And I think it's worth noting what you might have seen from the teaser trailer for Titanfall 2, and that concerns narrative. If you noticed a name on the drop pod, you might have recognized it as the name of a main character from the original game's lore who died heroically at the story's conclusion. Spoiler alert! Perhaps a ship named after him. The trailer is also voiced over by an antagonist from the first game. I suppose the story in this game will be a continuation of the bits of story that were put into that. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out, and that's a really cool sword. So, Titans fighting with swords. That's pretty badass in and of itself. Not much to say about that. I personally eagerly await the release of Titanfall 2, and I'm confident that Respawn, with enough time, will craft a product that is worth my money. At the worst, I'm sure that it will eventually go on sale, and Respawn will give a lot of the DLC out, Bernie Sanders style. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this and more Titanfall 2. Give the video a thumbs up. It really does go a long way in any event. Thanks so much for watching.